these kind of forums, they belong to the interviewee, because he has the last word always. So I think there was no need for Mr. Narendra Modi to inject control in a medium that is known for spontaneity. Social media is known for spontaneity.
Yes.
And that is where I think he has gone a trifle wrong. You see, this is not it is ironical that the next issue of Time magazine has Amir Khan on its cover. And it had earlier had Mr. Narendra Modi on its cover. And Amir Khan's film was banned by Mr. Narendra Modi in Gujarat, if you remember.
Barzania. Was that the one? Yeah.
So I think that there are questions that should be asked. I mean, if I were there, I would have asked him this question, though it wouldn't have been that unwelcome as any question on Naroda Patia. But through you, may I ask him this question? That, he's a great defender of the social media. He put his DP,
that's the point. Yeah, that's the point I was going to bring up with Mr. Sanjay Kaul. Mr. Sanjay Kaul, the irony is that just a few days back, in the context of what we saw in Assam, and to raise his voice against that incident and the following events in Mumbai, Mr. Narendra Modi blackened his, DP on the social networking site Twitter. He did that because he wanted to borrow the symbolism of the emergency, saying that, look, in this country, the government is moving and trying to restrain social media. Today, he's taking simulated questions, vetted questions. Is there a contradiction there?
No, you just said that he's probably taking up 6,000, did you say, questions come in? Now, the moment you have that number, you'll always pre-select. That's one. The other is that you understand that these are limited times.
You don't have to actually. You can just go through the list in no order of priority.
Therefore, you will select out of the whatever list.
In the order of priority, in no order of priority. If the first question happens to be a question on the Gojra carnage, well then...
Let me finish part two of what I'm trying to say. Let me finish part two. So one is that you will select whether you like it or not because you have limited time. And because the time is limited, most often than not, and you will see this at seminars and workshops also, we do that. The fact is that if you have somebody who just asks continuously a long, winded question, you cut down on time. And there are a lot of people out there who are not very coherent. So understand, and most importantly, let me just say, because you are managing something. This is a grand event. It's not like you and I are having a small interview in a private room. So fact of the matter is that you will always pre-select. You will always want a coherent question so that you can answer quickly, and you don't want somebody going on and on about the same questions again and again.
Okay, I can for a moment, Mr. Paranjoy Chakurta, I can for a moment say fine for the conduct of an interview to be done in a limited span of time, as also, of course, with some amount of structure. You're going to pre-select your questions. But does that presuppose that you will pre-censor those questions?
There is a track record. Mr. Narendra Modi did not allow Mr. Karan Thapar to ask him the question. He literally walked out of that interview. There is a track record, okay? It is known that if you have a spontaneous kind of interaction, you can get all kinds of questions. And if he is as confident as he claims to be, then let anybody ask him any question. I mean, this is supposed to be,
because technically, Mr. Modi has nothing to be defensive about. That's what he says. He claims he has nothing to be apologetic about. No, therefore, he should be able to answer any question that is directed to him. He did so with Mr. Shahid Siddiqui the other day.
Correct.
Did he not?
Absolutely.
So why wouldn't the same principles be applied?
You know what happened to Mr. Shahid Siddiqui after that. I mean, why isn't Mr. Modi, is he worried? I'm asking a question. Is he worried about answering questions about why the American government has not given him a visa? Or is it about what the judge has said about Maya Kudnani's role in Naroda Patia? I mean, is he going to duck those questions and say, oh, this is what the court has said, I have nothing to say, the people will decide? But whatever it is, why should Mr. Modi decide? Let there be hundreds and thousands of questions. Yes, there will be a pre-selection. But yes, in a public forum, as Mr. Kaul is saying, a grand event, let anybody be free to ask him any question. There is a moderator, Mr. Ajay.
Yes, that's right.
He can stop people from talking too much, asking, or going on and on. I mean, he can say, stick to the point, ask your question.
Mr. Kaul, let everybody valid questions. Very valid questions there.
Worrying about Mr. Modi, worrying about things different. I think a lot more Other people have read about this question. But the point is this.
No,
This is a negotiation.
Nobody here is worried.
I think
This is a negotiation.
none of us have anything to hide really or be defensive about.
Everybody except him seems to be worried about it. Now, the point is simple, that this is an event between him and people who are interested in knowing about him. This is a transaction between those people.
All the more reason for a man who harbors aspirations, Mr. Sharma, to become the Prime Minister of this country, he should be willing to take the tough questions, perhaps to just set him apart from the others who are in contention.
Well, of course, and I think that there are a lot of tough questions that one would like to ask of him. And he's not game for that, because as my friend said, it is a grand event, and to that extent it's
but are we also being a bit unfair? Because, you know,
it is a grand event, but it is choreographed. And it is choreographed on a medium which is meant to be spontaneous, on a medium which is meant to give me all the space to ask all the questions, whether they are good, bad or indifferent. And Mr. Modi, if he aspires to be recognized as a leader globally, then he should be answering those questions. Barack Obama, as you said, took those questions, and the comparison is bad.
Well, they even asked him. They even asked him to sing and dance. In fact, that was the level of free interaction.
I think we've been a trifle unfair to Barack Obama by comparing him with Modi, because comparisons are always odious, and this is the most odious comparison.
No, well, that depends on which side of the political line you actually stand on. If you're in Iran, you might have a problem with that. But
no, I just wanted to say that, let's not get so worried about him answering questions of the kind that, everybody else would do. I'm sure there'll be many occasions that he will be able to do so. The Google Hangout is a choreographed event. It is technically a choreographed event. It can't be just done on a street side. So please, let's take
it for what it is. Does it necessarily mean?
It is basically a publicity stunt.
It is between him and his supporters and people who are interested.
Would you agree, sir? It's a publicity stunt.
No, that's exactly what I was coming to, Ms. Chaudhary. Then is this just, to borrow now a thought from where Mr. Sharma has left off, is this just a publicity stunt then? Should we not be imbuing this with that much importance?
Well, it goes in his favor. It's certainly to project him in a favorable light. But there again, the role of the moderator can be very critical. If he is a fair